All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Expecting a few more folks, so they may show up late, but so be it. I see a lot of new names, a lot of new folks that joined us tonight, so welcome to all of you. So I'll just give you a brief rundown on what we're doing, how we're going to do it, and I guess a little bit about why we're doing it. So we're going to do some practice questions. My name is Donald Parker. I've been teaching CISSP boot camps for a little over 10 years now, and I try to do a lot of new things when I teach classes. So I developed course material with just the smallest amount of terms and concepts that I think are necessary to pass the exam. I recorded that content into an audio form, so you can listen to it while you're commuting to work and different things. We play online competitions, online quiz competitions on the system called Kahoot that helps reinforce those terms and concepts. We have Jeopardy competitions also to reinforce the understanding of that content. And then after we go through all the material, after we do all those competitions, I had a boot camp last month where we went through all the content. We did all the Kahoot competitions, and now we're doing practice questions. And this being the last step, I think really think it's the most important one. So what your guys are seeing now is my website where you can find all the content. But if you've been studying other material, chances are you're going to see just about the same, well, same general content anyway. No one source has everything, so but you'll get a good core group of what we're looking for. So again, we're here to go over practice questions. We'll do 25. We do this every Tuesday, Thursday at 9 p.m. and then Saturdays at noon Eastern Standard Time. We may start doing the Saturday sessions in person at an office space in Tyson's Corner. If anyone else has access to a conference room and would like to host a Saturday session, then shoot me an email. So the practice questions come from the Total Testers Training Hub. It's an online bank of practice questions. So as we're doing these practice questions, first of all, I think a lot of trainers or instructors, they only give you questions that they have the answers to. So I'm going through these questions. I haven't seen them either. We're looking for words or terms that we studied that we think will help us identify the correct answer. And but we don't care about passing these practice exam questions because no one can write practice questions the way they are on the exam. You're not going to see any practice questions that are like the questions you're going to see on the exam. Really, we're just trying to get ourselves in the flow and trying to get used to interpreting questions to find the the correct answer. All right, and then we're also, if you've gone through one source, one course material book, again, you haven't seen everything. So another good aspect or another reason why we do practice questions is so that we can see new terms and new concepts that we haven't seen before. But really, we're just trying to train our brain and get ourselves ready. So the way we're going to do this is I'll read the question. You can read on your own. You can listen. When you think you have the answer, don't just blurt out the answer or the letter. Just announce that you're ready, And then when we get a couple of folks that are ready, we'll go ahead and announce. And then we can talk about it. Anything you know about a question, go ahead and, add it and share it with the group. If we take too long, though, I'll go ahead and speed things up so we can get through these 25 questions at or not long after 10 p.m. So with that, are there any questions before we get started? All right. Here we go. Question number 1. Sensitive data is classified based upon all of the following factors except. Again, just announce that you're ready when you are.
Ready.
Ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Anyone who's ready, go ahead and give us your.
Bravo.
All right.
B.
Bravo. Everyone, bravo. Anyone have anything else? No? Okay.
I picked Charlie.
Age of data. Yeah, we've seen this question before, actually. I think we chose age of data before and we were wrong. So yeah, let's go ahead and go with Bravo. Once we finish all 25 questions, we'll come back around and look at the answers and explanations for why the correct answer is what it is. All right, question number 2. Structured query language is a standard blank and blank for getting information from and updating a database. Structured query language. All right, any takers?
I'm thinking maybe C.
I don't even know. I'm going for B as a guess.
Actually, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think it's D, as David.
I agree. I'm thinking Delta also. So you and I will take the hit for this one if it's wrong. But
I agree with you guys too. I'll join y'all with the hit.
all right. All right, number 3. What is the term used to describe the systematic evaluation of the exchange points between a graphical data system and the users or the system's users? Yeah, we've seen this one. Those of you guys that are just joining us, we've been doing this for a few weeks now, so we've gone through a couple hundred questions. We're starting to see questions.
Yeah,
All right, any takers?
D.
B.
Delta, interface testing, definitely. Anytime you see a question dealing with testing and users and graphical interface or graphical data, that's how the users interface with the system. Question number 4, Roger calls into a customer service center and pretends to be affiliated with the company in order to gain secured information. What tactic is Roger using? This is a layup.
Donald, we lost your screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. Okay. Oh, that was strange. Ooh, I'm not connected to my fastest internet. Let me make a shift real quick. Okay. Yeah, so this one here, this is what we call a layup. Questions like these, we have to get right on the exam. You can't miss any layups. This comes right from our course material. So who's ready?
I'm ready.
Yep.
Ready?
D.
C.
Say again.
C. C.
B. C.
C. C.
I believe it's Charlie, social engineering,
Yeah.
pretending to be someone else to try and gain information. That is definitely social engineering.
So what's sniffling? Or sniffing, is it?
Yeah, sniffing is if you, the best story or example of sniffing I heard was a guy put on a fireman suit and had a computer in a bag under his arm. He just walked in and said he needed to check, told the receptionist he needed to check the fire hydrant. So she just let him through. And he took that computer out, plugged it into an open jack, and it was sniffing all of the network traffic that was traversing the network and sending it back to him via a wireless link.
Okay.
Yeah, sniffing is looking at traffic as it traverses the network. All right, number 5. Which of the following will not be identified by a business impact analysis, BIA?
C.
Yeah,
I pick C.
Same here.
yeah. So BIA, you're gonna list out all your business processes. You're gonna identify which ones are critical, the ones you can live, the ones you can't live without, the ones that you can, and how long you can live without the others. You're gonna identify all of the tools and systems that are used to support those business processes, all the people that are used to support those business processes, but individuals to be contacted during a disaster, not so much. All right, number 6, which of the following best describes a parallel test?
Ready.
Yeah, just announce that you're ready if you are. Anybody else ready?
Ready.
Ready?
Ready?
All right, go for it.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie.
C.
C.
Yep, I agree. Anybody disagree with that one? All right, so far so good, I think. Question number 7, Drew determines that the cost of buying anti-spyware for technicians' laptops exceeds the loss expectancy if spyware threats were to happen. Drew should blank the risk. So the cost benefit analysis shows
Ready.
that it's not worth it. All right.
Ready.
All right.
Ready?
All right, shoot for it.
Ready?
Charlie.
GS. Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie.
I agree.
So far, these have been pretty straightforward. Number 8, there are different types of biometric systems in the industry today. Some make authentication decisions based on behavior, and some make authentication decisions based on physical attributes. Which of the following is the best description of their differences? Behavioral versus physical attributes.
A. I'm sorry. Ready.
Yeah, so Charlie and Delta, I think both of those are incorrect. I think they both give examples of physical attributes.
I'm ready.
All right, what do you got?
I think it's alpha.
Yeah, I'm going for alpha too.
Alpha.
Yeah, I haven't read anywhere where it says that physical attributes provide more accuracy. Has anyone seen that explicitly?
I haven't seen that specifically, but I relate this back to those errors.
Yeah.
Look at that graph. I think the CER, the FAR versus.
The crossover error rate, the point at
Yeah.
the false positives and the false negatives intersect. All right. Number 9, which of the following best describes the operating system component that contains the address of an instruction set to be fetched for execution? Address of the instruction set to be fetched for execution.
Ready.
Ready?
Ready.
All right, guys, go for it.
Bravo.
I was thinking delta.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this one. I don't know. Operating system component. Initial load counter. I don't. Protection ring is about the only thing I can identify as an operating system component.
That's what I was thinking too. See,
The
I haven't even seen those other ones before.
Yeah, yeah.
I think of you're trying to, the innermost is what the kernel.
Yeah, the ring 0 is the kernel, or where the most protection is. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that one, guy. We'll Super Steve and I will take the bullet for this one. But we'll see the correct response on the back end. All right, number 10, which of the following best describes the differences between multi-programming and multitasking?
Ready?
ready.
Jeez, that's a lot to read through. All right, what do you got?
I think it's David. Delta.
Now, multitasking,
Charlie.
goodness, I have no idea. Looking at Charlie, 2 applications are loaded in memory at one time versus 1 application loaded in memory at a time, and the operating system can process their requests simultaneously. Yeah, my mental picture says you have a program or an application, passive lines of code. In order for them to make something happen, you have to spawn tasks, and then multiple tasks can be loaded in memory at a time and run multiple tasks at a time. But I'm not, none of this really matches or fits with my mental picture. I think we're stuck between Charlie and Delta. if Sean were here, he would say to go for the one with the longest answer, or see your way, or Charlie. Always select Charlie. I think I hate those generalizations, but what's the consensus here? How many say Charlie?
I say Charlie.
How many?
I say Charlie.
I saw Delta.
All right,
I don't know.
we'll get to
Maybe
it.
Charlie.
Yeah, let's go with that one and see what it looks like on the back end. All right, number 11. What is the purpose of the presentation layer? That is
I'm ready.
layer 6, right below the
Ready.
application.
Ready.
Ready.
All right, go for
A.
B.
it. A, B.
B.
Anyone
I'm gonna
else?
say,
Go for B.
I think it's either Delta or Bravo, but I'm gonna pick Delta.
This is, if we're going from the top to the bottom, layer 7 down to layer 1. Layer 7 is
Application layer.
application layer. Layer 6 is the presentation layer.
Presentation layer.
So as data is traversing up the OSI model from 1 to 8, when it hits the presentation layer, it's really just trying to get the data ready for the application layer, and it does that by adjusting the syntax and formatting to get it to prepare it for the application layer. All right, number 12. Tom has led a research group in deciding upon the type of access control that should be used in the product their company is planning to develop. Which of the following is the best reason why the group decided upon rule-based access control? All right,
Ready.
takers on this one.
I think it's D.
I'm gonna say
B.
Bravo.
Yeah, Alpha.
See, I think it's B because alpha is for mandatory access controls where you go based on the identity and the security labels or the security categories. Oh, sorry, the classification of the objects and the identity of the subject. And the rule-based security is where they base it off of organizations that have multiple groups.
So is there a difference between rule-based and role-based?
Yeah, rule basis or for like firewalls and stuff.
Yeah.
So rule-based, you define a set of rules and access decisions are based on those rules, like policy or, like policy statements or whatever.
Okay.
Role-based is based on the types of activity that a user would need to perform based on the role that they're in. Bravo, which says explicit access, which is necessary with the use of roles, that kind of steers me away from that one because they use roles. And the question didn't imply that we're combining roles with rules.
I think it's your
Actually, I think it's delta, because if you're talking about rule, then you're talking about maybe like an if-then
Yeah,
rule.
yeah, I'm leaning towards delta myself. But yeah, we'll learn from this one. Let's go ahead and make a selection, and we'll see what we learn on the back end. All right, number 13. Which of the following disaster recovery tests is the most intrusive to business operations? We've seen this one already, and it's a layup.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready.
All right, go for it.
C.
D.
Charlie, full interruption. Cut off operations at your primary site. Bring up operations at your alternate processing site, and see how well you implement your business processes. Question number 14. What would be a common access control technique used in firewalls and routers for processing packets?
Ready.
Yeah,
Ready.
we just kind of talked about this.
Ready.
Ready.
What do you got?
B.
Bravo. Roll base.
I think
Yeah. We better be right about that. All right, number 15. A government contracting firm uses classification levels within its data networking environment. Which of the following best describes why this data classification program is put into place? Classification levels. So the government uses secret, top secret, all those different security levels, classification levels. Why do they do that?
Ready.
Ready.
I'm ready.
Ready.
Go for it.
I'll go for D.
D.
Yeah, B.
I think B.
Bravo.
Yeah,
Regulatory
Bravo.
non-compliance?
Yeah.
Why would you want non-compliance?
Oh, you're right. Probably C. Charlie.
And what's the difference between D and C? I was leaning towards D.
So for
I picked
fraud,
D.
say again?
I said I picked D because I didn't think it was fraud.
So fraud detection, the way, as I understand it, the way you identify fraud is by creating, by separation of duties, right? Not allowing one person to perform every part of a process, especially a critical process. But then mandatory vacation, you can have someone else step into that role to perform that part of the process, and they can identify if the person before them was doing something fraudulent. And then collusion, you want to create separation of duties so that users would have to collude with each other in order to conduct fraudulent activity. So collusion active, yeah. So classification levels, though, I don't think I like the wording of this question all that much. It's definitely not cost reduction. I don't think it's regulatory non-compliance. I'm gonna have to go with Delta. You know, if you have users at different classification levels, two users at different levels would have to collude with each other in order for fraud to happen. But just by having classification levels, it's not going to detect fraud. It may prevent fraud. I'm going to have to go with Delta here. Anybody disagree? All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Number 16, Bob is trying to figure out why the throughput of a particular link is significantly lower than the bandwidth it's capable of carrying. Which of the following is not a possible cause? So let's talk about the difference between throughput and bandwidth. Throughput is the average rate of bits that traverse a medium, and then bandwidth is the peak that amount of bits that could traverse a medium. Not a possible cause. So the amount of bits that could go through is lower than the total amounts of bits that could go through. Any takers?
Thinking A.
Yeah, what is conditioning?
If you've got spikes of your power or energy going through a cable, you want to condition it so that it stays, at a normal rate. You don't have those spikes.
Yeah, I think it's A.
Don, what does C mean again? Noise? Like noise? Like just noise, or is that another term?
Imagine a what do you call it, fluorescent light near a copper wire cable, or two cables next to each other. As energy traverses the cable and you have that resonance from the cable, it could bleed over into the other one. That's noise. For me, this one is attenuation. So if a cable is too long and the total bandwidth is say 25 megabits per second, but only 10 megabits is going through, it could be because the cable is too long and the signal is attenuating and weakening as it traverses that really long cable. Conditioning would be a method of solving a problem, not this problem, but for solving a problem of power spike. Noise is what we just talked about. Crosstalk can create noise. I'm going to have to go with attenuation. Anyone disagree? Think of that water hose. You can't make your internet cables too long or the signal will attenuate, get weaker. All right, number 17, which of the following proxies cannot make access decisions on protocol commands? So a proxy firewall that operates at different layers of the OSI model can be more intelligent or less intelligent depending on what layer it's operating. And one that can see protocols would have to be pretty high. I think we've seen this one before. Any takers?
A, I'm guessing.
Anyone else?
I think it's A, alpha.
Well, isn't A like this? Never mind.
Yeah, application layer proxy firewall, that's all the way up at layer 7. So that can definitely see, I can see protocols, applications, it can see.
How about Charlie?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Charlie, circuit level proxies would be low, at lower level of the OSI model. Packet filtering was pretty low, but it's higher than circuit, and then stateful inspection is up there with application.
What's the packet filtering? Where do you think that is happening?
Probably at the network layer.
Okay.
Could be data link, the uppermost layer of the data link layer, I think. All right, we'll see on the back end. All right, number 18, internet investigations possess a host of challenges for a data forensics expert. Which of the following would not be associated with internet investigation difficulties? not be associated with internet investigation difficulties.
I'm ready.
Ready?
All right, go for it.
D.
A.
Anyone else?
I'm kind of torn between A and C.
All right, so this is saying internet investigations possess a host of challenges.
Does the internet not have any jurisdiction issues?
Yeah, jurisdiction. If something's over the internet, you're definitely going to have jurisdiction issues. If an attack happens is initiated from one state into another state or from one country into another country, you definitely have jurisdiction issues.
So you're saying like the internet laws differ from country to country, basically?
Yep.
I see.
And some don't even have laws. You can go to the Philippines and hack the U.S. all you want, as long as you don't get caught by the U.S. and get extradited.
True.
I'm going to have to go, I'm leaning towards biometric complexities. There are definitely a challenge. There's not very many skilled forensic investigators out there. Rules of evidence would vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. You have jurisdiction issues because everyone's got different laws. I think the outlier here is biometric complexities.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Don, because biometrics is more for like authentication and stuff. I don't see it being attributed to the
And also with biometrics, once you prove that the biometric is indeed that person's, then it's a straight one-to-one link between who's associated with the investigation.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking when I do a forensic analysis, I'm going straight to the hard drive. I'm going straight to the media. You know, I'm not concerned too much about access control. I'm taking a copy of the media itself.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see on the back end. I'll take the blame if we don't pass this one. Number 19, when work product satisfies real world requirements and concepts, this is known as work product satisfies real world requirements and concepts. Any takers?
I'm gonna go with, this is Kiki. I'm gonna go with B, verification.
Anybody else?
I agree. I think it's Bravo.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking alpha.
Yeah.
If
I would look at alpha first too.
If you think something is something and it turns out to actually be that, then you validated that it is that. If you think something is something and you want to check it, then you're going to be verifying it. But that doesn't imply that you have that it has been confirmed to do what you wanted to do.
But if the work product is good, I feel like that would satisfy that requirement, and then if it's also accepted by the real world requirement, then that's a verification of what was validated. But that's just my thought. I don't know.
All right, well, we'll see if they give us a definition of the difference between verification and validation. But my mental picture pretty strongly tells me validation. We'll see. Man, I'm gonna be in the doghouse if we don't do good on this one. All right, number 20. What is the difference between POP and IMAP?
Ready.
Ready.
All right, what do you got?
E.
A.
Ramsey, what did you say?
Sorry, no, you're right. It's A. It's not B.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know these are two different protocols. POP is the post office protocol. IMAP is Internet Messaging Access Protocol. IMAP ensures that emails are synced across multiple devices, whereas POP downloads email from a server to a single device and deletes it from the server. So POP deletes it from the server. I think did anyone say alpha?
Yeah, I said alpha.
I think I'm going to join you on that one, but I'm not sure. I would have to spend more time dissecting this one. I don't feel like doing that right now. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like on the back end. All right, 21. A data forensic investigator who has been gathering several different types of evidence for an upcoming trial needs to make sure the evidence has all the following characteristics except.
I think we saw this one before.
Yeah, we have.
I think I'm ready.
All right, what do you got?
I'm gonna say delta.
Same here.
I agree.
Oh, I feel like we've selected that one before and we were wrong.
I think it's A or D.
I think it's A.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, because we originally thought that individuals could be deemed competent, but not evidence. But we were proven incorrect on that. Evidence can be considered competent. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you guys with alpha, and we'll see. Number 22, Alice and Bob have different roles. Is the enterprise in the IT enterprise? I imagine Alice is responsible for ongoing operations, and Bob is responsible for developing new application functionality. What term describes the effort to integrate their efforts, and why is it important? The effort to integrate their efforts. So Alice is
Ready.
operations, Bob
Ready.
developer. What do you got?
D.
Yeah, I'll go for D.
Delta.
Yeah, I'm picking delta too.
The DevOps is a term I'm familiar with. OpDev is not. Bob needs to understand the development environment. Bob is in the development environment. I would think Bob needs to understand the operations environment when he's developing.
They said integrate. That's why I say DevOps.
Yeah. All right, yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Bob needs to understand the deployment environment, not I was seeing development. Deployment environment is the operations environment. Okay, yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely Delta. All right, 23. What is social engineering?
I'm ready.
Ready.
Go for it.
E.
E.
Delta. It's a layup. Got to get these kind of questions right. Number 24. Which of the following statements regarding symmetric key cryptography is false?
I'm ready.
All right, what do you got?
I think it's A. That's a guess.
All right, anybody else?
I only say that because I know symmetric is faster than asymmetric. Key management, usually for asymmetric, I mean symmetric, it's like the AES stuff. And I think the longer the keys, the stronger. Wait. Key management is strong.
I'd say C.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah, I was read that wrong. I thought they meant key
I'd
length.
say Charlie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm picking Charlie.
yeah, it's got to be Charlie.
B,
I think
yeah.
it's
With symmetric cryptography, if there are 10 of us that need to use to share encrypted messages with each other, there'd be 10 to the power of 2 number of, I forget the formula,
I
but
think it's
a large number of keys would have to be developed. I would need a key uh, to encrypt messages with encrypt and decrypt messages with a Tim. I'd need a different key to encrypt and decrypt messages with Steven. I'd need a different key to encrypt and decrypt messages with Kiki. So the number of keys you would need is large, and managing all those keys is definitely not a strength. Um, Symmetric cryptography could not provide non-repudiation. Only asymmetric cryptography can do that. Functionality is faster than asymmetric. Symmetric algorithms are faster than asymmetric algorithms, and that's why we use symmetric and asymmetric together. Because symmetric is faster, we encrypt the message with symmetric key, and because we have a problem with exchanging the key with symmetric, we use asymmetric algorithms to share that or to exchange that symmetric key. We go into cryptography in great depth in the course material. So, question number 25: which of the following is usually not considered when classifying data? Not considered.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Go for it.
I think it's A.
A.
We seen this one the other day.
Yep.
I think.
Yep. I agree with you on that. Anyone disagree? All right. Let's see how we did. Fingers crossed. I think we always get 76.
That's our lucky
Yeah, one question away from a passing score. All right. Sensitive data is classified based upon the following factors. The amount of data should have no bearing on whether or not it is deemed sensitive. The age of data is significant as it relates to the declassification process, and the content of the data and the details of the security policy also dictate how data is classified. Guys, I record these episodes and post them up on YouTube. If you don't have the link, let me know. But it really helps to go back and listen to these sessions. Yeah, so structured query language interacts. I think someone did say alpha on this one. SQL, structured query language, is a standard interactive and programming language for getting information from and updating a database. SQL. Okay. Interface testing, that was a layup. Social engineering is a common tactic used by attackers to obtain useful information. Jedi mind trick. Individuals to be contacted during a disaster is not important for business impact analysis. Developing a call tree would take place after the impact analysis, after the BIA. Parallel test. When a parallel test is performed, the critical systems are taken to the site where they would need to be or need to perform in an actual disaster. Like cutting off operations and starting them somewhere else. Yep, we would need to accept the risk here. In this case, the cost of protecting the asset is too much, so it doesn't make financial sense. You never ignore the risk, but you can accept the risk. If you accept it, you still have to look at it on a regular basis to see if anything's changed. Yeah, so a biometric system can make authentication decisions based on an individual's behavior, as in the signature dynamics and voice print, but these can change over time and possibly be forged. So yeah, because they do not change as often and are harder to impersonate. Physical attributes don't have those changing characteristics, and they're harder to impersonate. Yeah, we guessed on this one. So the program counter register contains the memory address of the next instruction to be fetched. After that instruction is executed, the program counter is updated with the memory address of the next instruction set to be processed. All right, learn something there. Multi-programming, yeah, we weren't sure about this one either. Many resources state that today's operating systems provide multi-programming and multitasking. This is true in that multi-programming just means more than one application can be loaded into memory at the same time, but in reality, multi-programming was replaced by multitasking, which means that more than one application can be in memory at the same time, and the operating system can deal with requests from these different applications simultaneously. Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's a little. They say the exam is a mile long and an inch deep. I think that's more than an inch deep. What is the purpose of the presentation layer? Presentation layer, layer 6, does not have any protocols that work there, but has services that carry out data formatting, compression, decompression, encryption, encryption and decryption processes. Let's see, allows access decisions to be, yeah, we were on the fence about this one, rule-based. Rule-based access allows the developer to define specific and detailed situations that controls when a subject can or cannot access an object, and when that subject can do or what that subject can do once it's granted. Rule-based access control can be used traditionally in a Mac mandatory access control systems as an enforcement mechanism of the complex rules of access that Mac systems provide. But today, rule-based access is being used in other types of systems and applications. Most intrusive disaster recovery is full interruption. Yeah, we're right about. We stuck to our mental picture here, and that's another key point. When you see questions on the exam, and the answers kind of help you identify what that correct answer is, and then later on in the exam you see a question related to that one, you got to remember it and stay consistent in your reasoning. Rule-based access control uses specific rules that indicate what can or cannot happen. We already read that, so we know what that is. Yeah, we weren't sure about this one. Cost reduction mechanism, really? So a data classification program is put in place to ensure that all types of data are protected at the necessary levels in the most cost beneficial way possible. Yeesh. That's a long bow for me. That is a long bow. If done properly, funds are not wasted or on overprotecting data. Data classification could not detect fraudulent activities, and collusion is when two or more people work together to carry out fraudulent activities. Yeah, this is one where you can know the terms that they're using, but not completely understand the intent of the question. Oh, wow. And somebody, I think one of you said conditioning. So conditioning is what certain network devices perform on an electrical signal to make it more rather than less clear. Attenuation, noise, and crosstalk interfere with an electrical signal, degrading it. I thought that's what the question was going for. What was causing the signal to degrade?
You missed the not.
Which of the following is not a possible cause? Oh, yeah. I think you're right there. Yeah. Yep, you're exactly right. I made the cardinal sin. I broke cardinal rule number 1. Don't forget the doggone not in the question. All right, we're right about this one. Application and circuit are the only types of proxy-based firewall solutions listed here. The other firewall types do not use proxies. So that's a great point. Make sure you remember that. Application and circuit are the only two that can be proxy-based firewalls. Circuit-level proxy firewalls make decisions based on header information. So that would be at the that could be at the data link and networking layer. Application level proxies are the only ones that understand this level of granularity about individual protocols, and they can make decisions based on applications too. All right, we guessed right on this one. Biometric complexities. Biometric systems are complex, but they are related to physical security rather than internet applications. The other answers are all specifically related to the problems that exist with internet computer crimes. Validation ensures that the final product meets a real-world requirement and is providing the necessary function to the end user. I wish they would have told us what verification is in their opinion. But yeah, we could take that as homework. Look up the difference between validation and verification. Yeah, we guessed right on this one. IMAP provides the same types of functionality as POP, but has more capabilities and functionality. If a user is using POP, when he accesses his mail server to see if he has received any new messages, all messages are automatically downloaded to his computer. IMAP gives the user a choice of whether the mail will stay on the server or on his local system. So IMAP has more functionality than POP. And one of these days we're going to get this one right. Intangible evidence can be presented in court. So making sure it is tangible would not be a requirement. Intangible evidence can be presented in court. Should that say that it cannot be presented in court? So making sure it's tangible would not be a requirement. The essential characteristics of evidence are that it is material, it is competent, and relevant. I will never forget that again. All right, yep, we guessed right on this one, DevOps. Applications are coded for functional reasons, but not developed in a vacuum. DevOps is the integrating effort to make sure that developers and operations specialists coordinate with respect to how new functionality will live in the deployed environment. Social engineering, that's a layup. Symmetric cryptography is not good with key management. Not considered when classifying. Yep, who might use the data is dependent upon its usefulness, but doesn't factor into how it's classified. All right, that's it, guys. So we'll meet back here again on Thursday night, 9 o'clock. I'm trying to lock in just Tyson's location for this Saturday for anybody who's in the area that wants to meet in person. But I'll let you guys know hopefully by Thursday. If not, I'll send out a message on Friday. Otherwise, we'll be on. Well, even whether we get the on-site location or not, we'll still make it open to internet users. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Yep.
Don, what is the YouTube link?
If you go to YouTube and search for CyberSecStudy,
Okay.
you should see it.
Okay. Well.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, no problem. Take care. Yeah, if you don't see it by searching for CyberSecStudy, send me a message and let me know.